Hello, good morning. Welcome to Gaming Insight Daily for Thursday, September 11th, 2025. I'm Steve Saylor. This is your sometimes daily show of gaming news, accessibility news, or updates about my life. I have iced coffee in my Matrix mug today. Oh yeah, that definitely hits the spot today. So today we are talking about Borderlands 4 because reviews are out. We are going to do a review roundup and then watch the IGN review to see if maybe we can look at some potential other accessibility settings or design that I didn't see when I was able to check it out on the Switch 2 a couple weeks ago. So let's jump into the review roundup. So we're going to look at Metacritic. Right now, Metacritic is saying that it is currently at a 84, which is incredible. I actually did not expect it to be at this sort of positive review. I actually thought it was going to be probably maybe high 70s at the minimum. I did not think, or maybe 75. I did not think it was going to be one that that a lot of reviews would give a higher score for. So, but right now we don't have anything else TBD, or like the review scores TBD for PS5, Xbox, Switch 2, and this is all based on just PC reviews. So I guess I don't know if that will sort of skew the number a little bit, but right now it's currently sitting at an 84. Xbox era just gives it 100. It's saying it's Borderlands 4 is a masterpiece. Okay. Like that. Inverse is giving it an 80. Borderlands 4 rises above it all by committing fully to the bit. It serves up exactly what the fans wanted, exactly what it would like to play as. Kate Blanchett for one 60-hour mission, following blowing up aliens and weirdos alike, ascending and descending from spacecraft. Okay. But apparently, according to that's IGN Deutschland. Let's take a look at all of the reviews. Come on, there we go. CG Magazine gives it 100, 10 out of 10. This is Borderlands perfected, a game that takes the foundation of the series and elevates it in every conceivable way. Funnier, smarter, richer, more thrilling, and absolutely overflowing with reasons to keep playing long after the credits roll. Wow. I rarely ever see a CG Magazine giving it 100% and having this glowing of a review. That's pretty interesting. Okay, all right. Let's scroll through some more. See if we can find some folks that we recognize. Destructoid gives it a 90. Borderlands 4 is easily the best in the series when it comes to gameplay and fun factor, and the best overall game in the franchise since Borderlands 2, but some performance issues on PC are cause for concern. Okay, fair enough. Don't say what that is. Screen Rant gives it a 90. The series has officially returned to looter shooter glory with Borderlands 4. Let's see. Dual Shockers gives it a 90. If you already love the Borderlands franchise, even the third game, you're guaranteed to love this newest addition to this chaotic and bombastic looter shooter. Borderlands 4 is undoubtedly my favorite Borderlands game to date. It is a culmination of everything that the franchise has learned thus far and then some, be it a new traversal, quality of life improvements that make the hunt for the perfect legendary all the more palpable, or even vastly improved writing. Borderlands 4 excels in everything its predecessor struggled with. The sheer diversity of characters, gear, and ways to have fun is never ending, and the open world format is a surprisingly welcome addition to this amazing co-op FPS. Borderlands 4 is a leap into the right direction, and I can only hope that this trend continues upward for the rest of the franchise. Wow, okay. Let's take a look further down. We're scrolling through. Game Informer gives it an 85. Though many of the series' core elements remain intact, Gearbox has refined and reconfigured them in such ways that Borderlands 4 rises above anything the series has accomplished to this point, making for a chaotic looter shooter worthy of the series' sterling early 2010s reputation. That's good. That's actually good to see. I'm trying to find, let's see if we can find some more. Games Radar Plus gives it an 80. Borderlands 4 extracts the essence of a finale shootout and spins it across an entire game with a staggering amount of guns, allowing for pure carnage. While the game's story and tone fall far from those heights, at times it simply doesn't matter as much as shooting 6 robots out of the sky with an electrified explosive gun. Okay. Inverse gives it an 80. Borderlands 4 rises above it all by committing fully to the bit, There's exactly what the fans wanted, exactly what it would like to play. Oh yeah, we already read that. Okay, sorry. VGC gives it an 80. Borderlands 4 is a great RPG shooter with rewarding, engrossing gameplay. Some of the set dressing, like the bland new characters and like the bland new, is it bland or brand new? I wonder if they meant brand new. Brand new characters, a pointless grappling hook. Oh, brand new characters, a pointless grappling hook. Take the shine off. But the sheer amount of fun we've had with the game can't be overlooked. Borderlands 4 reminds us exactly why we're such big fans of the original 2 games and falls on its sword in learning the mistakes of 3. Okay, that's a pretty decent score review right there. IGN gives it an 80. Borderlands 4 is a badass open world evolution of a wonderfully unhinged looter shooter series that needs to try something new and largely nails the biggest swings it takes. Combat is slicker than ever thanks to exciting new movement options and some interesting enemy designs, and the entertaining story takes things in a fresh direction while still tying neatly into an existing lore. The transition to an open world isn't the smoothest, especially when troubling terrain with a few too many invisible walls can make it feel like these environments are all for show, but that's more than worth putting up with in exchange for being able to chart your own path and freely explore the wacky, violent world of Kairos. The bugs my crew and I encountered were bad enough to occasionally sour a co-op groove, but in between them, we had a great time, and my friends and I have found ourselves utterly at the mercy of its loot grind. The Borderlands series feels like it has been stuck in the mud for some time now, especially after a few patches. Borderlands 4 is exactly the kick in the pants it has needed. Okay. Windows Center giving it an 80 as well. Borderlands 4 delivers the ultimate Vault Hunter experience, a dazzling gem where every system from gunplay to movement to loot shines with obsessive care. I'm struggling to find faults beyond some lackluster performance hiccups that don't really dampen the chaos. Honestly, writing this review pulls me away from blasting slithers and chasing legendaries, and I'm dying to dive back into Kairos. Okay. I'm trying to find GameSpot. Here we go. GameSpot gives it a 70. All in all, if uncovering loot to crafting builds and unleashing chaotic mayhem is what you're looking for, Borderlands 4 has you covered. It's the most mechanically sound Borderlands game to date, and the various Vault Hunters each present an entertaining opportunity to tackle the game in a different way. Just maybe find a good podcast or video essay to fill the moments between the shooting and looting. The game's story and characters aren't strong enough to hold your attention on their own, and their game's combat begins to drag once you've seen all the enemy types there are to see. Okay, fair enough. Let's see if there's any other. Polygon gives the world is a big scary place, but you can always build a life for yourself in the sea of scrap, or at least cause a little mayhem. The Verge. They don't have a score TBD. Spanning unholy amounts of bullets like a stormtrooper at a shooting range. That's what I come to Borderlands 4. That hasn't changed, and the game is better for it. I know it doesn't sound like a compliment when I say Borderlands 4 is a dumb action movie, but sometimes it's enough that you know exactly what you're going to get with the game. No fuss, no muss, no bullshit. Sometimes I just want to make things go boom, and Borderlands 4 makes things go boom real good. I like that. That actually is probably pretty good summary. Okay, that is fair. I think that we've kind of gone through the gamut of overwhelmingly positive and kind of mixed, which is fair. It kind of feels like that with Borderlands 4, that it's definitely like, at least the summary of the reviews are, it's definitely better than Borderlands 3. And it definitely harkens back to the heyday of Borderlands 1 and 2, and it does keep the same sort of gameplay style, just improve with quality of life in ways I think that makes the game better. Obviously, it's a little bit less cringe with writing, which makes me very happy, because I know some friends who also wrote on Borderlands 4 that I was very happy to hear that basically the writing seems to be better in this one. But that being said, though, I didn't really notice anything that would bring in potentially new fans into the Borderlands franchise. I've been one that has been kind of on the outskirts of Borderlands for a while. Pretty much, I think, actually, since the beginning. I just was never really into the looter shooter type like gameplay. I wasn't one to be able to like if I find a gun I like, I'm gonna keep it. I don't want to necessarily have to keep kind of changing out different guns and or trying to find like the best sort of stats for a gun. I just would like if I like something that works for me. Generally, that also can be accessibility related because there are weapons that I prefer because of it just the ease of use for accessibility purposes. But that's kind of only one part of the equation for me when choosing a weapon. If it's like if it just feels good and I feel like it does a decent amount of damage for me, or it does what I want it to do, or does something fun that I love about it, I'm gonna want to keep it. I don't necessarily want to be able to upgrade. And if I find one that I like early on, then the whole looting shooting aspect of the game kind of gets lost. And that's the thing I always kind of felt with looter shooters is that I just like I like to commit to certain weapons and stuff. Like I don't necessarily want to be able to change out different things. And I get that maybe that's sort of the fun of the game. It's like, oh, finding out the next newest and wackiest weapon, and that's fine. But I find that it becomes, from accessibility purposes, when the reason why the design of a looter shooter, I think, is not necessarily as accessible as it could be, is there's the overwhelming the decision of or basically overwhelming choices that has to be made. You have to decide, okay, is this gun better than what I have, or do I keep my gun because, or maybe do I like. Is there something always better that's gonna come up around like on the next hill kind of thing? Like I'm always gonna be constantly debating and having decision paralysis of like, okay, do I choose this gun? Do I try a new different gun, or do I drop this one and move on to into this new one? Because you do lose it once you do drop it, so you can't just sort of necessarily fully keep it. Although there is something like obviously you can have like multiple different types of weapons, but still, it's like once you find a type that you like, and then you find another one that's potentially better, and you use that one, then you lose the one that you originally had. So it's kind of, and also too, it just the amount of the tricky part of the constant choice or the constant changing out of weapons for encounters is. For at least for me, I don't feel like that I'm able to like I'm getting better at the game or that I'm improving with my character in the game. It just feels like that I'm just getting a bigger and badder gun, and I guess it kind of is the point. But to me, I don't know. There's something in there that kind of prevents me from enjoying it, or at least it prevents me from thinking that. Is it me that's getting better, or is it the gun that's just better? And I feel like, and it kind of goes into the aspect of, is my disability getting in the way, or is it the game itself? And that's the thing I think with the similar to this is that is it the gun that's basically making me better, or is it the game itself? And I don't know whether or not it's like I don't know. It just feels off. And now, granted, Borderlands has definitely had it's made its bread and butter off of that sort of gameplay mechanic, and they definitely have seemed to be improved upon it with the open world aspect of it, and you get to choose obviously your sort of different type of character as you go, and you can play them throughout the entire game, which is fine. And obviously the co-op is a big part of this too. But every time I've tried to get into Borderlands, I just can't get into it. Now, partially now let's get into the accessibility side of things. I was not necessarily impressed with the accessibility that was in the previous games. Even with jumping to the Switch 2 event that I got to try at a Fan Expo a couple weeks ago, where I got to try Borderlands 4 and even take a look at the accessibility menu, it didn't seem like that there was enough there that I felt was enough for me to play. There is definitely more accessibility in Borderlands 4 than there has been in previous games. I can definitely guarantee that. I've seen it. There are definitely more options available to customize your experience in Borderlands 4 than there is in previous games. Is there enough to be able to make this a fully accessible game for any type of disability? More than likely, probably not. I did not see anything of a screen reader, navigational assist, anything for captions, or really a lot of visualizations for any attacks happening off camera. Or like I did see some of that in the game, but not a heck of a lot, at least because everything was just so chaotic There wasn't full captions. There's the subtitle options are pretty minimal. And also, other than now, granted, having to be able to remap controls definitely is a bonus, and you can be able to do that in Borderlands 4. But I don't know whether or not it's going to be, other than I'm playing it on mouse and keyboard, whether like I'm playing on controller might be the better solution. I don't know. That I kind of leave it up to you if you have any motor disabilities and you like the Borderlands series. I want to know, is this game play better than previous Borderlands games for you? But that being said, again, there is definitely more accessibility in Borderlands 4 than there is on Borderlands 3 and previous. But I don't think it's enough to be able to make this a better game or more accessible game than we would hope. If there's enough in there that like there's like 1 or 2 features that finally gives you the ability to be able to, okay, I can finally be able to play this, then great, awesome. I think that's going to be great. I'm definitely going to want to keep trying it myself to see if maybe there was more than just what the demo that I played provided, because again, I only played this was a combat arena demo specifically that I played. I didn't play anything of the game other than it was a specifically designed demo. So there could be more options that have been added before or since with like a day 1 patch or anything like that. So I can't say for certain until I get my hands on it, which unfortunately I did not get one for review. So I'm gonna have to either rely on other folks to be able to play it, or I'm gonna try to be able to play it myself. But again, it kind of comes down to, I don't know whether or not this is going to be the game to be able to pull me in to play. And even though with the positive reviews, it seems as if it's positive reviews from a lot of Borderlands fans, but I yet to be able to see anybody like that's brand new, that can they jump in brand new to the franchise and be able to like play. Like, is this a soft enough of a reboot ish that still keeps the Borderlands gameplay intact? But is this good enough for folks to be able to jump in and play? But let's watch the IGN review, because I'm curious to see how this plays and how this looks, and let's see what kind of, because I think IGN gave it an 8. So let's see what they have to say.
Could it be?
My passion for looter shooters has burned quite brightly for over 15 years, and Borderlands is the flame that lit the fuse.
Okay, so basically, if we're taking a look here at the HUD, this parallax sort of everything kind of like bending and curving into the center looks okay, but this has kind of been the same for pretty much every Borderlands HUD, and it doesn't look like that there's really a lot of improvement. I don't even think that, if I remember correctly, I don't even think that I remember seeing like there was a HUD increase size. I think it was a bit of contrast, but not heck of a lot. I mean, even with this sort of compass at the top, it's still hard to be able to see and read. So,
with Borderlands 4, Gearbox proves it still knows how to bring the boom. After fizzling somewhat with Borderlands 3, it felt like this series had begun to fall behind in the genre it pioneered. But breaking away from segmented levels and embracing an honest-to-goodness open world allows 2025's Borderlands to support.
Okay, so we could see this map and then this in-game menu. I mean, it definitely interface-wise looks pretty okay. Colorblind. Well, there is colorblind settings, so that could definitely be adjusted. This little blue icon though is really small. Or actually, a lot of the icons are really small, so I don't know about that. Anyway,
surprise us again. Drastically improved movement makes it one of the best feeling first-person shooters out there. The story takes a refreshingly grounded approach that pays off.
See, even look at the subtitles; it's like so small. Like there is subtitle. I think there is subtitle size, if I remember correctly, but it like even it wasn't anything that was worth.
Of course not.
And the expanded build crafting.
Like again, this font. Oops, sorry. This font size has anything left to be desired. Again, it's just not great. Not great.
Items, throwing knives, and weapon enhancements are all fantastic ideas. But taking these swings also comes with some unfortunate downsides, like how exploration is quite literally held back by invisible walls and awkward surfaces that refuse to be trod upon. Not to mention fairly rocky technical performance on the PC version provided for review, and numerous bugs.
Yep, I had that same experience on the Switch too, like as well. There was definitely a lot of drop frames for sure.
But those rough borders did little to keep me from once again falling head over heels for my first looter shooter love. And blasting through hordes of psychos with a friend or three feels as awesome as it ever has.
Okay. 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 I think I've kind of I don't know. I think I've kind of seen enough in that sense of I'm like there was enough there that I'm like no I'm sorry. The HUD and everything kind of seems a bit off for me. So it's a shame that basically that I wish the series could have done better for accessibility. And I wish that maybe that there was a little bit more of an accessibility team at 2K or a Gearbox, and there probably has been. There probably is several accessibility champions I know that tried their best, and obviously their accessibility was sort of a priority because there was an accessibility menu, but it just seemed as if that they either went like they couldn't be able to do either what they would want to be able to do, or they were probably butting up against the oh, this needs to be like stay the same because Borderlands fans need to keep the same thing, which could definitely be the case. Like it's the sort of the legacy of you don't want to, like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it is the kind of that mentality. But it's like it was already broken to begin with, especially for accessibility. So no one was willing to be able to step up and fix it, which is a shame. So I don't know. I would love to be able to hear your thoughts. Is this a game that you want to be able to play? Is this a game that that you like? If there are other accessibility reviews that come out after this video has come up, please let me know, and I want to be able to check them out because I'd be very curious to see from a potentially a newcomer's perspective, like or from a disabled player's perspective, like whether this game does better for the folks. I have a feeling it definitely will for definitely some aspects, but more quality of life improvements, but not necessarily fully accessible for a lot of players. But I love, again, to be able to hear your thoughts on that. That's going to be it for me. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back again tomorrow with the hour-long reaction to the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. It's happening at 9 a.m. on tomorrow on the 12th. I won't be doing a live reaction. I'll be just recording myself reacting to it and then putting that up as a YouTube video. So make sure to stay tuned to that to be able to see my thoughts and my reactions to what is announced during Nintendo's Direct, which is apparently the longest Direct that is not tied to a console release. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. Anyway, thanks so much. Take care. Have a great day. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.